Acadia National Park in Maine spans nearly 50,000 acres of the Atlantic coast. The majority of the park sits on Maine's Mount Desert Island, and it offers some staggering sights within its plentiful woodland and beautiful rocky beaches. Join Viewcation as we take a look at the top things to do in Acadia National Park, Maine. Visit the quaint coastal town of Bar Harbor. The town of Bar Harbor can often function as a base for those visiting Acadia National Park. This coastal town is located in the Mount Desert Island section, and it has plenty for visitors to do and see. One popular thing when you first arrive is to take the walk along the shore path. This path offers visitors the chance to take a small walk along the waterfront of the town and check out views of the surrounding islands. The waters surrounding Bar Harbor are particularly popular with both tourists and locals alike for kayaking and whale watching. These activities in particular have made Bar Harbor a popular cruise ship port. Within the town itself, there are numerous attractions to provide a good deal of fun for visitors. A few of these include the Abbey Museum and the Door Museum, both of which showcase unique information about the area. The Abbey Museum is more focused on the indigenous population of Acadia National Park, while the Door Museum is more focused on the area's recent history. The Door Museum is named after George Dorr, who is often referred to as the father of Acadia National Park. He was one of the key figures when it came to getting Mount Desert Island and its surrounding area national park status, and he's rightly revered for it. There's a ferry that goes from the mainland section of Acadia to Bar Harbor, and it can be quite an interesting experience. It's common for tourists to park on the mainland and then take the ferry to Mount Desert Island for the day, whether they intend to spend the day within the town of Bar Harbor or not. Some of the other notable locations within Bar Harbor include a plethora of shops and eateries, all of which offer some great coastal flavor. It's particularly advised to check out the lobster rolls while you're there. Go exploring along the carriage paths and bridges. To experience the open wilderness of Acadia, you may want to try journeying along the area's numerous carriage paths and bridges. These were constructed during the early 1900s as a means for people to explore the park. While horse-drawn carriages are still technically allowed on the nearly 50 miles of trails comprising these carriage paths, it's much more common nowadays for visitors to simply take the trails by foot. You can also bike along the trails or go horseback riding. Pets are allowed, but you'll need to be sure they don't spook the horses. The variety of trails that comprise Acadia's carriage paths and bridges can be a little intimidating for newcomers. The two most popular paths are Maple Spring Trail and the Hadlock Brook Trail, which run parallel to each other. You can take these trails as a loop, which is a popular option among visitors. While the spring and summer months are the most popular times to visit Acadia, the park's numerous carriage paths and bridges also serve as some of the best locations to try out winter sports like skiing and snowshoeing. Before we tell you more about the best things to do in Acadia National Park, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to Viewcation if you haven't already. Check out the Schoodic Peninsula. Acadia covers the entirety of Maine's Mount Desert Island, as well as a modest amount of the state's mainland. The mainland section of the park is defined by the Schoodic Peninsula, which is plenty of fun to visit and rarely as crowded as the areas across the water on Mount Desert Island. The reduced crowds that can be found mean tourists who are sick of the crowds in and around Bar Harbor can venture back over the water for a reprieve. The mainland offers a lot of what can be found on Mount Desert Island, but it's a bit more secluded, and there are also said to be some significantly greater bird-watching opportunities. Some of the cool birds that can be found there include snowy owls and bald eagles, though there are plenty of others. Get up close to the coast on Sand Beach. When inexperienced travelers hear of the plentiful coasts found in Acadia National Park, they might assume the area is filled with beautiful beaches. But the kind of coasts you'll find in Acadia consist predominantly of cliffs, and it's not a great idea to jump from these cliffs into the water. There are few legitimate beaches found in the region, and this makes Sand Beach fairly special. As the name suggests, it's a beach with actual sand, but only the bravest swimmers will want to venture out into the beach's waters, as they're incredibly cold most times of year. But there's still plenty to do and see while visiting Sand Beach. There's a walking path called the Ocean Path that will give you some fairly incredible sights. The first of these sights is an area called Thunder Hole. The name comes from the fact that the intense ocean waves crashing onto the area's rocky cliffs creates a sound that resembles thunder, and visitors can toil away the day marveling at these spectacular waves and the great sound they make. Further along the ocean path, tourists will be treated to another unique experience in an area called Boulder Beach. This beach consists primarily of large rocks which have been finely eroded over the years due to the crashing waves of the ocean. The waves have eroded these once ragged rocks into perfectly round boulders, providing some great photo opportunities. Finally, those who keep along Ocean Path will be taken to an area called Otter Cliff. It features cliffs steeper than any of the others you'll find along the path, which makes it a particularly popular location with thrill-seeking rock climbers. Right past Otter Cliff, the Ocean Path comes to an end at Otter Cove. Check out the Bass Harbor Head Lighthouse. This beautiful lighthouse was constructed in 1858, which means it drastically predates the area's national park status. Back in the day, the lighthouse served an important function for sailors arriving to the coast of Maine. Nowadays, it stands as a monument to the state's maritime history. The lighthouse is plenty of fun to view both up close and far away, and there's a trail that will take visiting tourists right up to it. Climb the summit of Cadillac Mountain. Cadillac Mountain looms over the area with its staggering height of 1,500 feet tall. That makes it the highest point along the entire North Atlantic coast. The summit is said to be the first place the sunrise can be viewed in the entirety of the U.S. from October 7th to March 6th. Visitors can climb to the summit of Cadillac Mountain if they choose, though there's thankfully another option that makes visiting the gigantic summit a possibility for those who can't make it on foot. The most popular way to reach the summit is arguably just to drive, as there's a road that will take you to the top in only around 4 miles. Meanwhile, the most common way to hike to the top of the mountain is along the Cadillac Mountain South Ridge Trail, which will confront hikers with an 8-mile round trip. Relax at Jordan Pond. Finally, let's take a look at the numerous relaxing opportunities granted to visitors around the area of Jordan Pond. The pond itself is plenty of fun to visit, though there's no swimming due to its status as a public water supply. Still, you'll find plenty of people paddling on its waters. If you're in the mood for a tasty treat, you can head to Jordan Pond Tea House, which has been in operation since the late 19th century and is still a popular place for locals and tourists alike, thanks to its scones. Now it's time to hear from you. Did we miss any of your favorites in Acadia National Park? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Viewcation if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.